Hello, welcome to my May planner update. I don't have a lot of exciting things to show you. However, everything that I'm going to show you, I am excited about. I'm going to take my jewelry off because it's kind of annoying having it clacking against everything. Okay, so we are going to start with my pocket bullet journal, and then I will show you my reading journal, then my take a note planner, and then my Hobonichi Cousin. Starting with my pocket bullet journal, I think I only have 3 spreads to show. I don't know if you can tell, but from the last few planner updates, you might have noticed that I haven't been as consistent with this one. Let me zoom you in. This was my spread from April, and then we just jumped straight into May 13th, so I didn't use this for like 2 to 3 weeks. This is a very busy season in TheCoffeeMonsterzCO because I'm prepping for like all of the summer stuff, so I just haven't had much time to do a lot of fun journaling, but again, I do love all of the spreads. So I did this like vertical layout where it's kind of like continuous. I basically just did a to-do list, and then it didn't matter like how long the to-do list was. I just continued it on throughout the week. I also randomly added in a grocery list, and I guess I was really into green, so I just took out all of my Tombow green markers and made these cute little shape doodles. I actually didn't realize I have so many green Tombows. Here I made a note that this was the first rainfall that we've had in a while, which I kind of regret because for the past like 2 weeks straight it has been raining, so this was kind of the catalyst. I made this little sushi doodle because I had a sushi with my friends. That was really exciting. The next week is basically the exact same thing. For the headers, I used the mini days of the week doodles, and then I paired that with the nautical washi tape from the Q2 subscription. And then this is literally like the only other spread that I have. I basically did a journaling layout because I had a lot of thoughts on my mind, and yeah, that's basically it. So nothing too exciting, but again, I have been really loving this sort of vertical layout, so I think I will be continuing this into June as well. So there is that. Next up, I have my reading journal, which I do have a few updates. Although I don't quite remember which was the last entry that I showed you guys. I think it might have been this one, Lord of the Flies. I forgot to fill in the stars. I think I gave it a 4 stars. And then I finished the Case of the Frozen Attics, which I also forgot to shade in the stars. I have it on my Goodreads, so I will just refer to that. And I finished The Housemaid, which is like a thriller book, I think. This I finished in like 2 days because I really wanted to know what was going on. And then I have not finished my entry for this book, which I have been reading this book for I think the past like 4 months, which is kind of embarrassing. This is like a 300-page book. It's not like super dense or anything. It's just like a regular typical novel. I have about 30-40 pages left. I think I can finish this today. I really don't know why it took me so long to finish this book, because it's not a bad book. I guess like every time I read, I only read a few pages, and sometimes I don't read for like a week at a time, and I can only read on the weekends, etc. So I've just been super inconsistent. For that reason, this entry also isn't done. I just wrote down my initial thoughts, and I had one quotation that I responded to, but I have a few more quotations that I annotated, which I will add into this later on. And I do want to spend a little bit more time on this because look at how gorgeous this ink is. I used my TWSBI Eco in extra fine, and I have this ink up with Sailor Studio 123, and it is just such a gorgeous muted purple but it has like hints of blue and mint if you look up close. I think once I fill out this entire spread with my thoughts on this book, because I do have quite a bit of thoughts, I think it's gonna look amazing. So I'm excited to show you guys that when I am done. And yeah, that is my reading journal. Moving on to my Take a Note planner. As a little refresher, this is where I answer my daily prompts and do all of my daily journaling. I always make this like little flap thingy and write down my prompts. Again, all of my prompts are on my website. I will link it in the description bar below. Okay, I guess I should start with May 1st. I made this bread doodle because, like, completely unintentionally, I go through months without eating bread just because I forget about this food, and then I'll just like randomly crave bread and have it with like peanut butter, and it's like heaven on earth. So that is why I made this little doodle. On Thursday, I made a bunch of madeleines. Madeleines are my sister's favorite dessert, so I make them very often, and I bought the special pan for it, so I'm gonna get my money's worth. And I was super excited because Claire Staff is on YouTube. She started doing like the recreating foods video, and she uploaded a segment making homemade drumstick ice cream cones, and I spent the evening watching that. I am not a lost cause. I mean, I agree with that sentiment, but I don't know why I wrote that down. Anyways, moving on. Every week, I also like to paste in a few photos. I get a lot of questions about what printer I use. I literally just use my Canon inkjet printer, like any office printer that you can get from the store. I printed on one big letter size sheet, and then I cut it into these squares just with like my X-Acto knife or scissors. So nothing fancy. I have been eyeing like the pocket printers, like the Sprocket and the Canon Ivy. I think those are the names. But I haven't like seriously looked into it, so let me know if you have any recommendations or thoughts about that. But here I have a photo of the chocolate pistachio cookies that I baked. My nephew stayed over at our house for a week, and he propped himself up against the side of the crib for the first time. So that is my mom like clapping and my dad just like supporting him. And then this was the bouquet of flowers that I got from my mom for Mother's Day. Here I made a list of some of my favorite songs from Taylor Swift's The Tortured Poet Department. This album is incredibly long, as some of you might know, and honestly, like, I just haven't really had the time to listen to it. It takes a lot of repetition for me to learn the songs and determine whether I like it or not. Like, if you just like play a new song for me, I can't immediately say I love it or I hate it. Like, I have to listen to it at least 3 to 5 times to really make my own judgment. So yeah, like even now, it's been a few months since this album released, and I'm still not 100% familiar with all of the songs. So anyways, also on this day, I went on a hike with my 2 other friends. So I made some like little tree doodles. This was the day I baked the dark chocolate pistachio macadamia nut cookies. We had new releases, and I doodled some cute little emojis. These were some highlights of my day. I love just like finding emoji stickers to represent my day. This was Mother's Day, and we had this like huge chunky raccoon in our backyard. And I made a joke that my sister was visiting us. I made beaver tails with my friends, and this was a photo that I took of that. This is the base of the beaver tails, and that is cinnamon sugar that I made. This is raspberry jam, and this is really hard to see, but it's mini dark chocolate chips. This is a photo of my mom and my nephew outside. And then we went on another hike, so I took another photo of that. I had a headache on this day. I feel like this would make a really nice sticker to represent headaches. Hence, I didn't write too much in the evening. Brain fog. I feel like this would be another good sticker for the shop. The headache sticker and the brain fog. Oh, on this day I bought my first like new piece of makeup item in a while. I don't wear makeup too often anymore, but on this day I just felt like going shopping, and I got the NYX Jumbo eye pencil, honestly out of nostalgia, because when I was in high school the NYX Jumbo eye pencils were the biggest rage, and I owned I think 2 of them, and I threw them out because they expired. But yeah, I've got another one and I've been actually wearing them quite often ever since. They're just a nice little touch to your eyelids. So my best friend, she spent a summer working abroad in Germany, and she actually met her boyfriend there, which is like the sweetest story ever. And he actually flew to Canada these past few weeks to visit her, and I got to meet him on Saturday. So we went to Sushi California and had a very nice dinner. That was really fun. What is your favorite part of being you? I am tall. I like being tall. That is true. I feel like a lot of tall girls especially can probably relate. As a kid, I have always been the tallest person in my class, if not at least the tallest girl. And it has always been an insecurity of mine. And even when I meet like customers in real life, they often make a remark about how they expected me to be really petite, but I'm actually really tall. I think when I turned 20, that is when I fully started embracing my tallness. Like I actually really like it now. So I like that my hands can draw stuff, and that is all I can think of right now. Oh, this photo just makes me so happy. This is again my nephew. I paste a photo of my nephew every single week just so we can see him grow. And look at him. He is just so cute. This was another batch of the brown butter chocolate chip cookies that I made. These were such a hit a few weeks back that my friends requested for them again, so I made another batch. And then this was a photo that I took on the grouse grind. This was like at the very peak. Like I was maybe 5 steps away from being at the peak, and I was like, I need to take a photo of this because I just went through hell. So yeah. Rate 2024 so far out of 5 stars. Exactly 2.5. Here I was talking about how I should reduce the amount of iced Americanos that I buy. This was my friend Lauren's birthday. You might know her on Instagram and on YouTube. She is the best. And I sent over like a bottle of ink, as well as like the birthday cake Oreos, which are so good. I did some baking. And name a public figure who has inspired you. My answer was just Taylor Swift. And I think so I tried freehanding her underneath the sticky note, but I messed up really badly. So I glued on another sticky note on top and redid the drawing. I would lift it up to show you. I'm not afraid to show you my mistakes, but I think this is like tacked on really tightly, so I don't want to accidentally rip the page. Okay, anxiety sucks. Again, I feel like this would be another nice sticker for the shop. Let me zoom you in. I really like that. It's how I feel a lot of the times, to be honest. I did the grouse grind on Saturday, and I think I was like so pumped with adrenaline that I was like feeling good on Saturday, but on Sunday I just completely crashed. Okay, and this was, I think this week. So this was a photo that I took of a mug that I shattered. I was so sad because this was a mug that one of my customers gifted me, and I have been using it every single day for the past several months, and I accidentally shattered it when I was doing the dishes. This is a photo of the checkerboard shortbread cookies that I made. This took a million years to do, and it was super tedious, but I really like how they turned out. And this was my nephew. He has his pants covering his face, and I thought this was the funniest thing ever. This is kind of funny. I was too lazy to write down the word prompt, so that is why this is all empty. I should probably do that now, because if I don't do it now, I will never do it. what is a weird food combination you like? And let me tell you, I feel like I've told this story before, but in my first year of university, I made this bagel sandwich for several weeks straight, and it's gonna sound disgusting, but I remember really liking it, and in fact, I might get the ingredients to make it again. But it was basically a blueberry bagel with deli turkey, clementines, and peanut butter in a sandwich. And again, I know it sounds disgusting, but I willingly ate it for several weeks straight. So I don't know. I will try it again one of these days and see if I still like it. Tuesday was a big cardio day. I did my morning walk. I did the Stairmaster treadmill walk. I did a hike, and I also walked to the office. Glued on this like You Rock card. Okay, let me write in the prompt again. I don't know why these few days I've been having like stomach problems and mental health problems, so that is why I drew a stomach and a brain. That is basically everything for my Take a Note planner. I don't know, I'm still quite indifferent about this planner. I am definitely liking it, but it's not a love. So yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna definitely finish this because again, I like it, but I don't think I like it enough to repurchase it for next year. Let's move on to my true love, which is the Hobonichi Cousin. This is kind of crazy because this is the January to June book. And once June is over, we're going to move on to the July to December book. So this is almost done. And I had several questions from people asking whether I plan on still getting the ⴳ괏 system for 2025, basically the entire year split into 2 books. And to be honest, I think next year I'm just going to get the standard good old Hobonichi Cousin. I'm glad I tried this out because if I didn't, I would forever be curious whether I would like this more. But to be honest, I really do like the full book more. So yeah, this is my workout tracker. Again, this is like probably the only thing that I am consistent with. It just gives me like a I was about to say a melatonin boost. It gives me a serotonin boost. Just makes me so happy. So yeah, this was all of May. I went a little bit crazy with the steps. I averaged 29,597 steps, mostly because I had a lot of 30K plus step days. I think for June, I'm gonna chill out a bit with my step count, but yeah, nothing else to say there. Moving on to the monthly section. This was April and this was May. Again, nothing much to say. I guess the funny part is I put down this label, but I forgot why. So that label's just blank. And I already got a head start on my June spread, a few deadlines and meetings, but nothing too crazy. Okay, moving on to the weekly spreads. I have to say I have been incredibly inconsistent with my weekly section. I will admit I'm a little bit disappointed in myself. I think it's just because I still haven't found a weekly system that fully works for me. Like something just isn't right. So I'm gonna keep experimenting and hopefully eventually I will find something that works for me. I really do like time blocking, but I think just like the different symbols and way of time blocking isn't fully clicking with my brain so far. So yeah, I do love this spread though, and I'm really liking this like habit tracker format. Oh, also, some people in my Facebook group have been posting these like dashboard layouts in the weekly section, so I kind of took inspiration from that and made this checklist. And I really like this, so I might keep experimenting with that as well. Again, very inconsistent. This was like a yellowish theme. I didn't even bother filling out the work tracker. Yeah, just being completely real with you guys. I'm not gonna like try to fill this out and pretend I was able to keep up with this. Again, very inconsistent. I do enjoy like color blocking here, but I tend to get like a little bit busy and slack off on the weekends. This is this current week, which I am actually surprisingly being very consistent about, and I think I can finish this off, although I didn't really bother with the sidebar. Not too sure how I feel about this time blocking system with the shaded bars. I think it's very bold, so you can very clearly see my work hours, but it's a little bit almost too bold. So yeah, I don't know. Let me know if you guys are struggling with the weekly section as well, so I know that I am not alone. Okay, moving on to the daily section. I spent a lot of time in the daily section for the month of May, so I really like all of my spreads here and I'm excited to show you guys. So this first spread was inspired by the Ode to Monet washi tape, which is one of my favorite washi tapes. I love the gloomy colors. I had a few podcast episodes that I wanted to listen to, so I did a bullet point of that. And then this is my tried and true recipe for the Madeleines. This was like a galaxy theme from our very first subscription bundle. Sunday reset. I had a lot of cleaning to do. Oh, this was really sweet. I was walking towards a grocery store and in the parking lot there was an elderly lady and she was pushing her grocery cart, and literally a giant cardboard box of oranges toppled over and she didn't notice. And I waited like a few seconds because I thought like surely she would notice, but she just like kept walking towards her car. So I started running after all of the oranges, and some of the other shoppers saw as well, and it was just like a group of people picking up oranges for this lady, and I thought that was just so sweet and funny. This was a swatch of all of the new washi tapes that came out on May 10th. A lot of very simple ones, and the Planning Time washi came back, which is one of my favorite washi tapes. Ooh, this was a fun day. I went to Costco with my best friend and her family. I had not gone to Costco in maybe years at this point, so I was actually so excited, and I had a few people in the Facebook group suggest I make Costco stickers, so I might do that. Like emojis trying samples and buying things in bulk. I don't know. Okay, this is the recipe for my double chocolate chip cookies. Really good. And I don't know what happened here, but my fountain pen exploded, and that is why we have these black ink blobs. Yeah. This was when we did new releases. These were the flowers that I bought for my mom. I just did a little doodle of that. I went to the office on this day. On this day, we had a family dinner. This was the first like whole family dinner we had in a while, like with my sister, my brother-in-law, and little baby Luca. I did an entire video on this, so I'm not going to talk about it too much, but I was basically basing this week around the color 991. I doodled some pencils and florals. Currently listening to the beef tracks. Interesting. This was referring to the Kendrick and Drake beef. I'm not like too familiar with the world of hip-hop, but I really do love listening to it. So there's that. On this day I bought kimchi, which I was really excited about. Doodled some chicks and ducks, and this was a recipe for beaver tails that I made. In the morning I was feeling very overwhelmed, so I doodled this like banner, and then I eventually caught up on everything that I needed to catch up on. So yeah, this is like a battery drained emoji, and it says, "Sigh, is life meant to be like this forever?" I was probably going through something on this day. Some doodles of a wheat field. I was really trying to be creative with like the different yellow themes that I could do. Let's see, this was a catch-up day. Oh yeah, this was a day my nephew stayed over, so I made a cute little doodle of him. didn't write down a to-do list for some reason. This was Victoria Day. I went to Tynehead and we had a family dinner. Put down a few of these like in my bubble emojis. We had some deliveries, and then I bought this like microwave popcorn thingy, and you basically just like put in some kernels and pop in the microwave and you get a fresh batch of piping hot popcorn. And this has been my obsession for the past several weeks. It is so good. Never ever buying pre-made popcorn ever again. This was the brown butter chocolate chip cookie recipe that I made. Super good. And on this day I did like an Instagram reel on my top 6 favorite Tombow dual brush pen colors, and I really liked this infographics thing that I made for the video, so I decided to save it in my planner. Here I was drinking some tea, so I saved the little quotation that the tea bags had, and I also doodled the little flowers on the actual packaging. Also, I promise I actually get things done, but sometimes I forget to check it off. So there's that. This was definitely my favorite spread from all of May. Very different from my usual, but this was a day I did the grouse grind with my friends, and the grouse grind is pretty famous in Vancouver, I would say. It's basically a mountain, Grouse Mountain, and it's a bunch of stairs and you just climb up and up and up. And I was really proud of myself because I think the average time it takes to scale the trail is about 2 to 2.5 hours. I was reading the FAQs beforehand, and I managed to finish in 55 minutes, which I didn't really expect. And later I was talking with my friend about it on Instagram, and she said that if you run a 10K, like 10 kilometers, that time is typically how long it would take for you to scale the mountain. So that's actually pretty accurate. And of course, as a good planner person or journal person, I snagged a bunch of like maps and brochures so I could paste it in my planner afterwards. I just ripped it up into like this mountain scenery and pasted it at the bottom. So my entire grouse grind experience is written here. So I spread it out over 2 pages, which is why Sunday is like very short. And it actually worked out well because I was so tired on Sunday that I didn't get too much done anyways. Moving on to Monday, this was a nod to the mug that I shattered. It had a bunch of daisies on it, and again, I was really sad about it, so I just doodled a bunch of daisies, and I also wrote down a passage from the Enchiridion. Here I made a doodle of an emoji in the zone, and I don't know why I found this so amusing. Maybe it's like the expression or something. Okay, this was the recipe for the checkerboard cookies that I made. This turned out really well. I did not bother with a to-do list at all. Judging by the doodle here, I was really struggling on this day. So yeah. And this was Friday, last day of May. I also made a trip to H Mart, and now we are on to June. So those were all of my May spreads. I think my favorites are definitely the daily pages. I, again, spent a lot of time on them this month, and I think this is why I plan to just stick with the Hobonichi Cousin for next year instead of having a separate journal, because I love the daily pages a lot. So yeah, I think that is all I have to say for now. I know it's not a super exciting video, but I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next week. Bye and take care.